Hello students, Mr. Young here. Welcome to class today. It's probably about October 5th if you're working by the due date. And that means today we're talking about Christianity. So with that, Christianity is currently the world's largest religion, with 2.2 billion followers, making up about 31.5% of the world population. Picture below is Jesus Christ, a central figure in Christianity. It's called Christianity. Christians believe Jesus was the immortal Son of God and that he sacrificed himself so that his people could be forgiven of their sins or transgressions. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the history here. So the origins of Christianity, as is with Judaism, there's an entire chapter's worth of information on Christianity shoved into this one lesson, so points will be brief. Christianity sprung from Judaism. Jesus was referred to as the King of the Jews. You remember that the Jews had their own kingdom, but they lost it to conquest. When Christianity comes along, the Jews are spread out in the Roman Empire. They're all spread out, living amongst the Romans in the Roman Empire. In the simplest terms, along comes a Jewish prophet, Jesus. He performs miracles and preaches to vast crowds. He tells parables, or stories that teach lessons, very easily understandable by everyone. He's followed by 12 men called his apostles, and claims to be the Son of God. He's betrayed by one of his apostles, Judas, and turned over to the Romans, where he is crucified, which is basically being nailed to a tree until you die. Why was he crucified? Well, the Romans didn't want him stirring up trouble, because it seemed like a sort of a paradigm shift, like the Jews have this hero, this prophet, and so they let him get executed. There were multiple Jewish revolts in the Roman Empire in this time period, so they saw him, looked like trouble, let him be persecuted and killed. According to Christianity, he comes back 3 days later, comes back to life, and it is said that he died so that his followers would be forgiven of their sins and thus be able to go to heaven. Sort of like giving everyone a get-out-of-jail-free card. Now, after the death and resurrection of Jesus, his apostles spread his teachings. Much of their worship is done in the homes of their followers. They didn't have like big churches yet. Christianity was the polar opposite of the primary religion at the time, the Roman religion. Think about it. Christianity is monotheistic, one God, whereas the Roman religion is polytheistic with many gods. Christians would refuse to worship the Roman emperor, who is said to have been a god at this time, and they refused to serve in the Roman army. Many Roman officials did not trust the Christians, and at times Christians were persecuted or even outlawed in the empire. A later Roman emperor, Constantine, is said to have had a vision before a battle that converted him to Christianity, and at this point he makes laws in the Roman Empire that basically it's freedom of religion toleration kind of legislation. So you can now worship freely in the Roman Empire. A later Roman emperor, Theodosius, makes Christianity the official religion of the Roman Empire. Churches are built. The hierarchy, or sort of organization of the church as we know it today, is established, and the teachings of Christianity were written down in their book of faith called the Bible. It was a very early Roman church. Now, Christianity spread rapidly because times weren't easy for people in the Roman Empire. You know, it's hard living back then. The message of Christianity, that is, of salvation and helping your neighbors, was easily received by the people of the Roman Empire and welcomed compared to the somewhat harsh dogma of the Roman Catholic religion. Also, at this time period in the Roman Empire was a time of relative peace. So along with the peace and the easy message, the likable message, and the well-maintained road system of the Roman Empire, Christianity was able to spread easily. Now, things have a bit of a split here. Christianity was the official religion of the Roman Empire, and the Roman Empire at a point became so large that it was split into two, Eastern and Western. And each one had their own emperor, and this is basically because it was too large for one man to control. The Western Roman Empire was kind of on the downward spiral. It was falling into decline, but the Eastern Empire thrived, becoming the Byzantine Empire, which we'll learn all about. They didn't like each other, and they started to worship Christianity in different ways. And so what you end up having being the Western Roman Empire that falls was Roman Catholic, and what is basically the origins of the Roman Catholic religion. Byzantine becomes the Eastern Orthodox Catholicism. This split, this religious split, actually still exists to this day. You still have Roman Catholic churches and Orthodox churches. Yeah, pretty interesting. To keep this brief, after the fall of the Western Roman Empire, there was a chaotic time period called the Dark Ages. We'll learn about it. It's called the Middle Ages, or the Dark Ages, or medieval times. It was during this time that Christianity was spread north into Europe by missionaries. There were Roman Catholic missionaries as well as missionaries from Byzantine, and they all both headed north, and that's why Western Europe tends to be more Roman Catholic than Protestant, and Eastern Europe tends to be Orthodox, because the missionaries just went up. They went north. So that's kind of how the spread of Christianity went in Europe. Pretty interesting stuff. We'll talk about it more in detail when we get to, well, Rome in the Middle Ages and the Byzantine Empire. Christianity is going to have many more splits. If you're familiar at all with it, then you'll know there's a lot of different forms of Christianity now. It starts off with just a split between the Roman Catholics and the Eastern Orthodox, but then Roman Catholicism splits off when you have the Protestant sort of Reformation and Martin Luther, which is a pretty big historical event we'll talk about as well. And that's really going to have a big impact on Western history for quite a long time. For more information on Christianity, you can read Chapter 13 in the textbook for funsies if you want, or I have this sweet video here, which is Christianity 101, same as the Judaism video. This guy does a good job. Yeah, Hip Hughes. He does good videos on religion. Short, concise, unbiased. That's it for today. The quiz is on the very next page. I believe I set it for 2 attempts. It's pretty standard Yonda quiz. That's all. If you need me, shoot me a message or give me a call. Have a great day.